Home. You got a reception committee. Ah. Hello.
Thanks.
Okay. Right, get your balance. Well, I'll put both of those down onto this next step. Sort of skip. That's it.
Hello, Peter.
Uncle Albert.
Let me help you.
Oh, it's all right, thanks, Uncle Albert. I've got to learn to master these things.
All right.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'll
Very
get
kind.
it.
Oh, back on me one piece then, eh?
Oh, just about, Hilda. Thanks to Peter and the Mountain Rescue boys.
Oh, yeah. He was a little hero, was your Peter. Everybody says so. Hey, is it broke your leg, or just a sprain, or what?
Torn ligaments. Painful, but not permanent. Or so they tell me.
Oh, that's good.
Back home in style, I see, Ken. I don't know. No wonder the income tax is through the roof. It's all this public money we're spending, so fellas like you can fall off mountains and come rolling home in ambulances.
I mean, cheek. You never paid a penny income tax in your life. You live on public money, you do.
I think Eddie's being satirical, Uncle Albert.
Yeah, I was. I think.
Roman cheek, I call it.
You know, you're not entitled to make remarks like that, Eddie Yates. You have to be hard-working and conscientious before you can go around making remarks like that. Only them what work are entitled. Well, like me. I could have said it.
What about your Stan? He couldn't.
Good morning, Mrs. Ogden.
Morning, Mrs. Walker. Oh, it's lovely out. One of them good-to-be-alive mornings, isn't it?
I particularly wanted it really this morning. I wanted to scrub the living room floor in readiness for the new carpet.
Is that the carpet Eddie Yates is supposed to be getting you?
The one with my initials woven into it? What do you think about that?
Well, I don't want to be a wet blanket, Mrs. Walker, but I know Eddie Yates, and I think you're heading for a disappointment. And you give him some money too, didn't you?
Really, Bet, I am a very good judge of character, and I am quietly confident. Do realise that you're 20 minutes late, Mrs. Ogden?
Oh, yeah, well, I started off in good time, but I got held up. The wounded soldier coming home.
Ken's not back, is he?
Yeah, come just now in an ambulance. Well, I had to have a word, welcome him home, like. You do if you're a good neighbour, don't you? That's what being a good neighbour's all about.
Doesn't take 20 minutes, Mrs. Ogden.
Ah, well, yeah, you can't be a clock watcher and a good Samaritan, Mrs. Walker. Any road, I had a word and he's not broken nothing. He's just torn his lineaments. That's like his muscles. Ooh, it sounds nasty, does that? Hope it never happens to Stan.
It only happens when you exert yourself, Hilda, so Stan's in no danger.
I wish everybody had stopped saying my Stan's lazy.
What is he then?
Well, it's just he believes in conserving his energy.
He must have conserved enough to run a railway.
Now, Mrs. Ogden, I want you to start in the living room.
Oh, I generally do in here first, Mrs. Walker.
In the living room, Mrs. Ogden. I want you to take up the carpet, scrub the floor. I don't want an expensive new carpet laid on a dirty floor.
Well, if it's that carpet Eddie Yates is supposed to be getting you, I think I'm wasting my time and your money.
Bet, I don't want her sidetracked from the living room today, dear. So I think we ought to arrange the cleaning in here ourselves.
I've only got one pair of hands, Mrs. Walker. I can't do any more than I'm doing now.
Bet, a job shared is a job halved. I intend to pull my weight.
Why don't you get Betty back?
I've asked her more than once, dear. I cannot keep running after her.
Anybody in?
Yeah, in here.
I heard you were back. I thought I'd better just pop in and see the wounded hero.
Oh, no, you got it wrong, Len. I'm wounded, but he's the hero.
Dad!
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's a good job you were down here from Scotland to look after him. And he's not fit to be left out on his own, you know. Yeah, we'd have never let him be Edmund Hillary if we'd have known.
When was my dad Edmund Hillary?
Oh, why didn't they tell you that? Oh, we let him get dressed up as Edmund Hillary. Conqueror of Everest in the Jubilee procession, you know. Then he goes and falls off a hillock in Derbyshire. Hey, I tell you what, next time your dad and your Uncle Albert go upstairs, I'd make sure they were roped together if I were you.
Morning. Lovely day.
I wouldn't know. When you work here, you never get to see sunlight.
Morning, Annie. You wanted to see me about something?
Yes, I did, and thank you for coming so promptly. Don't go, Bet, this concerns you.
I've nowhere to go, Mrs. Walker.
Alf, I'm going away next week, and Bev will be left here holding the fort on her own. Now, I was thinking, instead of the place being empty at night, who better to fill the breach than you?
Oh. Me?
Yes, I thought you might move in, sleep here, and simply be on the premises. Well, you've no family ties, have you? And they do say a change is as good as a rest.
Well, I'm sorry, Annie, love, but it's not on. I mean, as it happens, I've got a lot of things to do next week. Even if I hadn't, I don't think I'd take it on.
Oh, dear, and I was rather banking on you. You see, with Fred away, the place will be deserted unless I cancel my holiday.
Well, I'm sorry, Annie. Anyway, it's a bit short notice, isn't it?
I was so looking forward to it.
Look, Mrs. Walker, I don't mind moving in here while you're away. It doesn't bother me being on my own at night. What bothers me is being on my own behind this bar. There'll just be me running an entire pub on my own.
Oh, that's a bit rough.
Well, you're not kidding. Honestly, Mrs. Walker, I do wish you'd ring the Labour Exchange and see what barmaids they've got.
I don't like going through the Labour Exchange. One can easily get the wrong sort of person.
They're only out of work, that's all that's wrong with them.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's not a medium I care to use. I like to have personal knowledge of anyone I'm going to employ.
Oh, well, I might be able to help you there. There's a lady lives near me, Mrs. Perks. Now, her daughter's a barmaid, and I think she's looking for work. Do you want me to ask her to come round?
Oh, if you think she's suitable.
I'll ask her now. Can I use the phone?
Hello, love. Can I have a packet of my usual coffee nails, please?
Hey, it's years since I heard him call that.
You know why, don't you? Too close to home.
I read somewhere that everyone you smoke, takes minutes off your life.
Yeah, I read that.
As a matter of fact, I feel guilty sometimes selling them to people.
Ah, well, you let us smokers worry about that. And just remember, if it wasn't for us smokers, you non-smokers would be paying double tax on everything. As a matter of fact, we're keeping the country going.
Have you tried this substitute stuff?
No, I have not. If I'm going to smoke, I'm going to smoke tobacco, not that chemical stuff. Ah, well, back to the treadmill, eh? Hey, it must be all right for you two running this shop together. It must be a right doddle for the pair of you.
Try, love. She's right, you know. I mean, I'm a bit superfluous, aren't I? Come on, be honest.
Well, it was very good of you, Betty, stepping into the breach like you did when I had to go and see my mum. But this shop just will not pay two people's wages. If you don't believe me, ask Alf. He knows about business. He'll tell you.
What's that?
Well, Rini was just saying she can't afford to keep me on. Don't you go backing her up. I mean, I know that. I suppose I'll just have to accept Annie Walker's peace offering.
Oh, heck.
Why, what's up?
Well, I wish you'd said something sooner, Betty. Only Annie's been looking for a barmaid, and I think I found one. I got her interview this morning.
Oh, well, that's that then, isn't it?
Oh, you don't know for sure, Betty, love. I mean, Mrs. Walker might not like this girl.
Oh, that's true enough. You know what Annie's like. Very hard to please.
You've caught me in rather a mess, I'm afraid. Only I'm having a new carpet laid. Something rather special. Now, I gather from Councillor Roberts that you're looking for work.
That's right. I'm between jobs just now.
You are experienced to help, aren't you? Everybody has to learn, I know, but I do need someone who knows the ropes.
Oh, yes. I've worked in hotels and pubs for nearly 10 years. Some very good places. I was at Moorcock. Don't know if you know it.
Very nice place, yes.
Well, I was in cocktail bar there for 2 years. Worked at commercial in town. Round table have all the do's there.
I see. I would need to see some references, of course.
Oh, yes. Thought you would, so I brought them.
Thank you. Very glowing. Certainly seem to have impressed Mr.
Eptonstall.
Cyril Heptonstall. Oh, I know him well. Where exactly do you live, Miss...
Alexandra Terrace, just off Park Road.
Not far, is it? Quite an easy walk. I don't think I know your first name.
Dawn.
Dawn, yes. Well, you're certainly experienced. You're not married, are you?
Oh, no, I've no entanglements.
And you would want a job here?
Oh, yes, I won't come wasting your time. And I can start as soon as you want.
Splendid. Start this evening.
Thanks very much.
There is just one thing, Dawn. I do like my stuff to be smart and neat.
Oh, naturally. I know I look a bit of a tuttle at the moment. Only I rushed right round, you see, when I got a message off me mum, and I didn't have time to do myself up.
Of course you didn't. Well, welcome to the Rovers.
Thanks.
Chop, chop, darling. I'm dying of thirst here.
Wait your sweat, Fairclough. Any road earnings before you. Well, where's Madam? You might well ask. Just now she's interviewing a prospective barmaid, but if you ask me, it'll end up Muggins here doing lots. I am doing my best, Ern.
Look, that's it. Goodbye for the present.
Yeah, try.
Honestly, I'm run off my feet, Mrs. Walker. I'm like a sparrow trying to feed 10 cuckoos.
Your troubles are over, Bet. Yes, Len?
A vodka lime and a pint of bitter, love.
What was wrong with her then?
Well, quite a number of things, I dare say, Bet, but you'll find out for yourself. She's starting this evening.
You've taken her on? Oh.
Sound surprised?
No, I mean, I don't know the girls from Adam. Hey, folks, that was your new barmaid that just walked through the door.
Due to the kind offices of Alf here. She's not the perfect choice, of course, but she seems experienced and she is willing.
You fixed it up with that job?
Well, yeah, I suppose I did. I know, Mother.
You want your flipping head feeling, you. We want some talent behind that bar. Don't you know any mothers with beauty queens who are daughters who want jobs behind bars?
Hey, when you come in here for a pint, you're not coming for an appointment with Venus, you know. Don't matter what girl looks like.
I cannot agree with you there, Rita. When a bloke comes into a pub after a hard day's work, it's not just for the beer and the company. We want to see a pretty face there.
I see. Does Emily share this point of view?
Well...
I thought not. You're just like Len. Anyway, what makes you think a barmaid's a sex object?
What makes you think she isn't?
Just all that's all open, will you, pal? Sam, mate. Yeah, Mrs. Walker. One special order bespoke carpet.
I don't believe it yet. It's kept his word.
I always do to me friends. Well, nearly always.
Just a moment, Mr. Yates, if you please.
There we are, Mrs. Walker. Capital A, capital W.
Oh, splendid. Take it through.
Right, come on, Charlie.
Is this where the Kenneth Barlow lives?
Oh, why, who was it who wants him?
I'm Jim Hinton, one of the mountain rescue team that got him off Kinder.
Come on in, come on, mate. He's sitting on settee with his leg up.
Hello again.
Hello.
Chap from mountain rescue team here.
Jim Hinton. I helped get you down off Kinder.
Oh, hello, Mr. Hinton. I'm afraid I don't remember you. I wasn't taking much in at the time.
Had to come into Manchester, so I thought I'd call in with your binoculars. We found them in the gully where you fell.
Oh, well, thanks very much. I'd given those up for last, actually. You're not dashing off, are you? Take a seat. Uncle Albert, how about a cup of tea?
OK. You know, you did a right good job with our Kennan, Peter.
That's what we're there for, Mr...
Tatlock's the name. I'll just put kettle on.
Well, I'm very pleased you dropped in, Mr. Hinton, because, well, I wanted to say thank you to you and to the team. I'm very grateful.
It's very kind of you. Anyway, most of the credit goes to your lad here. He kept his head and didn't go running round in circles.
Yes, I've been telling him he did a good job.
Tell you what impressed me, Peter, the way you used your powers of observation. We could have been hours finding you, and he got some landmarks fixed in his mind. If he hadn't got you fairly quick, well...
Yes, I realise that.
You get colder and colder and eventually hypothermia. That's why it's important to use the proper clothing. Anyway, Peter, you did a real good job.
Yeah, well, that runs in family, you know. We can look after ourselves when things get tough.
He's an artist at laying, this lad. He can lay anything except hard-boiled eggs, can Charlie?
It's a beautiful carpet, it really is.
Not bad, is it?
More than I hoped.
Do you know you could walk into any front room in the land and you wouldn't find another carpet like that? The Queen hasn't got one. That AW in the weave there, that is your guaranteed distinction. And do you know something? You could have had a long wait for that carpet, only I pushed it through, you know. I mean, even Nellie Harvey hasn't got a carpet with her monogram in. Mind you, it wouldn't really suit, would it? NH in the old weave, put you more in mind of the National Health Service or the National Lumps.
Yes, it would. Well, I'm most appreciative. Would your friend care for a drink?
Oh, Charlie? Oh, no. You don't want to disturb him when he's in flow. It breaks his rhythm, you know. Mind you, I could do with a pint without doing any harm, you know.
Right, come through to the bar.
Keep grafting, Charlie. Must be marvellous to have a talent like yours.
Do you rescue a lot of people, Mr. Hinton?
More than we like, Peter. Like the odd rock climber who starts something he can't finish. And mostly it's just people that go out for a hike and get lost or sprain an ankle or something.
You know, I used to do a bit of rescue work at First War. Mine, it was a different sort of what you fellas do.
And a damn sight more dangerous, eh?
Oh, well, you don't have Jerry shooting at you when you're doing it, do you? That's the worst part, you know, not knowing whether Jerry had us in his sights or not. Remember once, one of our fellas, Jack Andrews, he was a corporal. He lay wounded about 50 yards out in no man's land, moaning and groaning. And after dark, me and another fellow, we thought we'd sneak out and try and bring him in.
Did you manage it?
Oh, aye, we got him in all right. And he got sent home. That was the end of war for him. I used to see him every now and then. He lived round here, you know. Died not but a couple of years since. Every time I saw him limping about, it used to give me such a funny feeling.
But it did.
Hey, let's show Mr. Hinton your medals.
Oh, I don't think Mr. Hinton will want to see
love
them.
to.
Would you?
Hang on. They're here somewhere. There they are. They're great, aren't they?
Isn't this their men?
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't hand those out with the rations.
What about young Peter here? He's going to get a medal of some sort, isn't he?
Uncle Albert.
I don't think so.
Well, I'll tell you what, I could write a letter about him. You know, to Queen.
Oh, no, look, you're not going to write any letters to anybody. You won't let him, Dad, will you?
Better than getting medals is if you avoid running into trouble in the first place.
Yeah, that's well understood. The next time we play it straight, the right gear and the right precautions.
Yeah, and let us know where we're going to be.
Tamo's making tracks.
Right, I'll let you out.
All right, well, goodbye and thanks again, Mr. Hinton.
Cheerio, then.
Bye.
Next time we meet, Peter, I hope it's not in the line of duty. Unless maybe you join a mountain rescue team when you grow a bit older.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You wanted me, Mrs. Walker?
Have you wiped your feet? There's a mat outside.
Oh, yeah, they wasn't dirty, but I wiped them anyway. Oh, I say. Is this it, then?
The carpet, yes. That was why I wanted you.
Oh, well, it's very nice, I must say. Not quite what I'd have chose myself, I don't think. I'm more for my pastel shades, you know, but, well, it is very nice, yeah.
Now, Mrs. Ogden, I want you to listen very carefully to my instructions for cleaning it.
Well, I know how to clean a carpet, Mrs. Walker. Other people have got them, you know. I've got one at home.
This is not any carpet, Mrs. Ogden. In the first place, on no account, use a vacuum cleaner until I give you the word.
Not vacuum, right?
No, a high-quality carpet needs time to settle, so use a brush.
Well, it's all the same to me. You're paying. I don't mind using a brush.
Not any brush, Mrs. Ogden. The medium bristle. Now, I have tied a label onto it to remind you.
Right, I'll do my best, as usual.
I do not want to promise that you should do your best, Mrs. Ogden. I want to promise that you will do it right.
Can I come in? I've heard about the new carpet and I thought I'd come and have a nosy. Oh, I say.
What do you think?
Your initials all over it and all. I've never seen anything like that before.
No, it is rather exclusive, isn't it? Oh, Mrs. Ogden, I've been thinking it might be a good idea if you brought a pair of slippers in to wear when you're cleaning this room.
Slippers? Oh, now, that's special clothing, isn't it? I mean, by rights, if it's special or protective clothing, you ought to provide it.
We will discuss it, Mrs. Ogden.
Yes, it's very grand indeed. A bit too grand for me, I think.
Yeah, there's a little snag and all, isn't there, as far as you're concerned?
What's that, Hilda?
Well, a monogram carpet wouldn't be much use to you, would it? You change your name too often.
Another remark like that, Hilda, and Mrs. Walker will have blood all over a new carpet.
Now, ladies.
It's very nice, Mrs. Walker. Very nice indeed.
Didn't like that, did she?
Here, Mrs. Walker. Just come to check the lane's taken properly. Only you get what we call shift in the trade, you know, but not when a proper job's been done. No. Oh, yes. Yes, beautiful. I take it you are happy, Mrs. Walker?
I'm very well satisfied.
Then perhaps we could talk about the sum outstanding. Only I've got certain disembursements to make, you know, where Charlie who did the fitting and so on and so forth.
Yes, of course. Give you a cheque for the balance. £71, isn't it?
Cash would be favourite, Mrs. Walker.
Oh. Oh. Well, I believe I can find it.
Great. Happy customer and a happy supplier.
How long have you to sit with your leg up? Did they tell you?
Yeah, 3 or 4 days and then back to work. These permitting.
I suppose you'll want a cup of tea.
He makes that sound more like a threat than an invitation.
No, but brew up for visitors all day today. I brewed tea once, I brewed it 10 times.
Well, why won't you let Peter do it?
Because he uses too much tea.
Well, you needn't brew up for me. I've heard you use your tea leaves twice over.
Yeah, well, we're using tea bags today.
Ah, but how often? That's what I'd like to know.
Dad, is it all right if I go across to the youth club disco?
Yeah, sure. But you don't know any of the kids over there, do you? I'll come over and introduce you to one or two.
Oh, yeah, I'll see him across.
I can go myself.
I won't show you up.
I didn't mean that.
You go by yourself then, Peter. You all right for money?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, do you mind if I walk down the road with you, young man? I'm going your way.
No.
Right. Hey, and you take care of that leg. And get this old miser to empty that teapot more often.
I know what I would like to empty it.
Oh, see you.
Bye.
He's growing up at a relic, you know.
Yes, I was just thinking the same thing.
He's not a little lad any longer. You know, when you ever set eyes on him for a few months, it gives you quite a shock to see how much he's grown.
I shall miss him when he goes back to his gran, and I know you will, Uncle Albert. I've been thinking about asking him to move back here.
What, for good, do you mean?
Yes. What do you think?
Well, I'm all for it, but what about him? Do you think he'll want to?
Well, I won't know till I ask him, will I? But I'm not going to make him. I'm going to leave the decision up to him.
What time did you tell her to be here, Mrs. Walker? I mean, it's gone 7, and we're running around like scolded hamsters.
Well, just at the evening session.
Well, don't tell me she don't know what time licensing hours are around here. If you ask me, Mrs. Walker, going off for looks and everything, you've picked a right dub there.
Unfortunately, I have to put up with the stuff I can get, which is not necessarily the stuff I would like.
Ouch.
And Leonard, what are you having? I'm buying.
You've been robbing a bank?
Me commission on Mrs. Walker's carpet.
Come on, which lorry did it fall off the back of?
That carpet is legit. Dead legit. It couldn't be more legit if it had a birth certificate.
Hey. The view has improved all of a sudden.
Evening, Mrs. Walker.
Is it Miss Pearce?
Reporting for duty.
I'd hardly have recognised you.
Where shall I put my coat?
In here, in the hall.
Right.
So, is that the new barmaid? The one that was here at lunchtime?
Can't be.
Bet?
Of course it's her.
Well, I didn't know she looked like that.
Evening, gentlemen. Anyone want serving?
Yes, love, I do. I'm Eddie Yates, a businessman round here, and I'm buying. And there'll be one for you.
Oh, thanks.
You know, I more or less got you this job. I know your mother. My name's Alf Roberts.
What's your name, love?
Dawn.
Oh, that's very nice.
Dawn, eh? I'll tell you what, Dawn, you can come creeping over my bedroom windowsill any time you want.
I can see I'm going to have trouble with you lot. I'm glad to say.
Tune in tomorrow at 6:30 when Ken puts his proposition to Peter and Dawn causes ructions at the Rovers. Next tonight, Granada Plus gets the tinsel and tree out for a Christmas surprise.
What are you doing up at this time?
I've been up since 7 o'clock, and if I'm at home, I'd be out on my bike by now for a training spin. You see, it's much better at this time of the morning because there's no traffic about.
Take after me, don't you? Can't sit still for a minute, eh? What are you looking for?
Oh, I was wondering if you've got any honey anywhere.
Honey? No, that's too sweet for me. There's some marmalade in the kitchen cupboard, and that and some jam, too.
Oh, I found that. I've already got it on the tray.
Tray? What tray?
For Dad. I'm taking his breakfast up to him. Only you see, Gran swears by honey, according to her it's got umpteen million vitamins, so I thought it might do him some good.
Look, the fact that you're taking him his breakfast upstairs, it'll do him more good than a cartload of vitamins. We all like being made a fuss of, you know.
Except you.
Ah, well, I'm an old soldier, I'm used to looking after myself.
If I tell you, a right cracker, a right dolly, you put her in Miss Wales, she'd romp home, no danger. She's way out in front.
Go on, your highness on. You're just dreaming.
I'll tell you what, I'll go and pinch her, make sure I'm awake.
It's yourself you pinch.
I know, but it's not half as much fun.
Go on. Mrs. Walker spends half the time trying to get Bet to cover up her cleavage. She's never going to employ another one like that, now is she, Betty?
Look, I haven't the remotest idea who Mrs. Walker would or would not employ. The workings of her mind, they're quite beyond me.
Look, Peter, you don't have to stay here just for me, you know.
Why? Don't you want to finish
Oh, I'm
this?
happy. I thought you might be getting fed up.
I tell you if I was. Gran said if there's one thing I do, it's see what I think. Do you want a cup of coffee?
No, thanks. No, you've done enough cooking for today.
Well, you can't do it for yourself, can you?
Yeah, I know, and I appreciate it. Breakfast in bed was smashing. But don't lay it on too thick, eh? I might get to like it.
I think Uncle Albert already has.
Yeah, very likely. Still, I wouldn't mind having a butler. Do you fancy giving it a try? Moving in?
What, here? With you and Uncle Albert?
Well, for starters, yeah. Then if you and Susan got to like the idea, I get a little house somewhere nearby, not too far away.
Susan as well, you mean, yeah?
But of course you twit. I wouldn't ask one without the other. I'm suggesting that we, try to live as a family again. How does it strike you?
You did ask us once before.
Yeah, I know. When Janet, Look, Peter, I don't want to talk about the past. I'm trying to build some kind of future. I mean, you're growing up fast.
Yeah.
You'll be a man before. Well, we've not had a bad time the last couple of weeks, have we?
No, it's been smashing, in spite of the,
Yeah. Look, I don't expect you to make any sort of decision now. I mean, you couldn't come until next school term anyway. I just want you to think about it, okay?
Okay. Checkmate.
What?
Checkmate.
You're getting better at this than I am.
Am I?
Betty, love, that one's no competition to you. As I said to Len, only a fool would be taking in with all that window dressing.
Well, Len taking in.
Well, he's a fella, isn't he?
Betty, looks aren't everything. I mean, a barmaid has got to be liked by her customers. She's got to have this warm personality.
Seems to me she didn't need a personality.
Well, all right, so she can con them for a bit. For how long does it last, and does her type ever settle?
No chance. That sort thinks there's always something better on the other side of the hill. You listen to your Auntie Reenie. Dawn Doodah is not here permanently. She's a 7-day wonder.
Then I did exhibitions, you know, demonstrating gadgets, that sort of thing.
I should have thought you'd have made a bomb demonstrating.
Oh, we can if you don't mind murderous hours. Myself, I prefer this job any day. At least you don't have to flog beer. It sells itself, doesn't it?
So you think you like working here?
Working in a pub might not pay as well as demonstrating does, but I enjoy it. And I think there's a lot to be said for job satisfaction, don't you?
Oh, indeed I do. That is why I've dedicated myself to the licensed trade. To me, it's not just a way of earning a living. It's a service in every sense of the word.
And it's friendly, too. You get to know your customers.
Mrs. Walker doesn't like us to be too friendly, do you, Mrs. Walker?
I certainly expect my customers to have respect for my staff. I'm a great believer in personal dignity.
We all are here. We dig dignity.
You know, this may not be the smartest house in the trade, but I like to think that it's an oasis of peace and calm in a troubled world.
Can I come here now, Mrs. Walker, because I've finished everywhere else?
Not with that, I hope.
Pardon, I can't see you.
Then switch it off.
Oh, yes. There you are now. What was you saying?
I told you, you never use a vacuum cleaner on a new carpet.
New carpet? Oh, hey, I forgot. Mind you, you'd had the other such a long time, hadn't you? No, of course you want me to use the brush on it, don't you?
And gently. If you know what the word means.
Touch her this morning, isn't she?
It's that sort of world, Hilda.
I didn't used to like salads.
Oh, you do now, though, don't you?
I don't mind lettuce and cucumbers, okay. But I'm not really too keen on tomatoes.
Now, look, there's no beats a nice homegrown tomato. Hey, that'll be enough now.
All right. I think it's the tomatoes we get at school dinners that put me off. All mushy and blech.
Oh, well, that'll be them tin things, you know. They're all right in soup, but no else. But you do like school dinners?
Oh, they're not bad. The puddings are best.
Aye, I'm a bit partial to roly-poly myself. You know, syrup sponge and treacle sponge and roly-poly. Trouble is that your dad, he never likes the fresh apple, so I don't bother for myself.
Uncle Albert,
Aye?
has Dad told you he's asked me and Susan to come back down to live?
No. No, but I'm not surprised. I mean, he had it on his mind for some time now.
Over here, darling, there's a tasty man waiting.
Look, I don't want to be awkward or anything, but I was here first. I do have to get back to work. Half a bitter, please.
Send him to the back of the queue, Jones, darling. Save the unmarried blokes like me first.
Did I say you could call me Dawn?
Why not? You can call me Edward Gerald Timothy Yates, or Loverboy for short.
You can serve me if you like, Fat Chub, seeing as you seem to be stood there doing nothing.
Yes, Hilda, what can I get you? A double cyanide?
Ooh, can't you do better than that?
No.
By what bit of witchcraft did you con Queen Annie into that?
Very efficient.
Oh, yes, I can see that.
Well, I never knew she looked like that, did I?
You must have done. You recommended her.
Not necessarily. With head squared on and no makeup, you wouldn't give her a second look.
Well, I've got news for you. We all look like that to start with, but you've got to have the basic ingredients to finish up looking like that. Like the old saying goes, you can't make bricks without straw.
I can't see Annie complain anyway. She seems to be keeping the customers happy.
Oh, yes, she's keeping the customers happy, all right. But I don't see her doing much for staff relationships.
In a couple of hours, girls, I'm just going to the hairdressers.
It don't look like it needs doing to me, Mrs. Walker.
Oh, thank you. I do try to keep as well groomed as possible. But with going away, you see, and Billy has a lot of friends on the island. One moment, Mrs. Upton.
Billy?
Her son and heir. He lives on the island.
What, in Jersey?
Yes, he's quite attractive. He's got no problems, and he's just a few years older than you.
Really?
And he's not a tax exile, and he's only a barman, and he likes them young.
Younger than you mean?
You've met your match there, Bet.
You must be joking.
Oh, and one final thing, Mrs. Ogden.
I thought there might be one final thing.
Yes. Well, in case I don't see you before I leave, you will take extra special care of the carpet, won't you?
I'll look after it as though it were me own.
Yes.
Alice, I'll take my shoes off and walk in the room on my flipping hands if she wants.
Oh, cheer up, Hilda. She's bound to make a fuss of it while it's new. I mean, you wouldn't mind a new carpet, would you?
Look, I've got about as much chance of ever having a new carpet as I have of marrying Charles Anzavor.
You know you want to get a little bench put up round here, Albert.
I know. Some hollyhocks and some roses. Look, this is a working allotment. This is not a flipping flower garden.
Oh, sorry. I heard you had some very good lettuces this year.
Oh, you heard right.
Oh, well, could I have a couple and a few onions if you've got any to spare?
Oh, they're not so bad at all.
His back's worse than his bite.
I begin to wonder. Well, how are you diddling?
Pardon?
Are you settling in?
Oh, fine, thanks, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure your dad thinks so.
Well, he's asked me to come back down and live here.
Has he now?
Me and Susan. Only she doesn't know yet.
And I?
I'm not sure.
Still, if your dad wants you to.
He's leaving it to me. He says I'm growing up now and it's up to me to make my own decisions.
Yeah. Difficult making decisions, isn't it? And growing up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, great. You spoil your Billy, you know.
I've already bought him a shirt and tie. But I saw this in that very nice men's boutique opposite my hairdresser's. I couldn't resist it. Blue's always been Billy's colour.
Did he sell nice men? In the nice men's... Like I said, you spoil him.
I wish I could. When do I see him? Twice a year?
Well, is there no chance of him ever coming back?
I doubt it. He's happy there, and that's the main thing. He's applied for a job as manager of a small hotel, and he's very hopeful about it. Would be another step up.
Well, I can't say I blame him. Jersey's bound to be better than round here. Anywhere has to be.
Don't maybe we stay here.
Well, I don't hear you knocking it, Mrs. Walker. I always thought you were our local patriot.
I've never denied that there's a great big world outside, but we're not bound by any chains other than habit.
You are. You've got this place.
Oh, bricks and mortar. Look, I've devoted to my life to this place, but when all's said and done, 'tisn't even mine. I'm just a tenant. Theoretically, there is nothing to stop me retiring. Going to live in some nice little seaside town or in the country.
I've even less to time, me. No home, no family. No.
Friends?
You always make new ones. No, I could just as easily be serving rum punches on some tropical beach somewhere as best fitted to that lot out there. But I won't. I'll be here till they carry me out feet first. And I'm not proud of it. There's plenty I've got get up and go. She has, for instance.
Go on.
Yeah.
And you wish you would get up and go?
Oh, Mrs. Walker, would I say a thing like that?
Yes, I'm stronger, but not in my presence. Bed, dear, I realise she could be an irritant to you. But do try and get on with the dear while I'm away, for my sake.
All right, I'll try.
Good. It's a load off my mind.
Okay.
Toasted to perfection. Can Susan do them like this?
Can she not? She burns them. She puts stuff under the grill and then the next moment, black smoke everywhere because she's either reading a magazine or listening to her tranny or something.
Yeah, well, women are like that, aren't they? Heads in the clouds, not practical like us blokes.
Dad, you know what you said about coming here to live?
I told you to think about that. It's a big decision.
Yeah, I know. I'd like to come.
You sure?
Yeah, be great.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
You haven't changed your mind or anything, have you?
No, not a lad. I've not changed my mind. Got any more of these?
Yeah, I think so.
I suppose I should feel guilty, but I don't.
Story of my life, yeah.
Yeah. I skived off 20 minutes earlier. Still, the time I put in that place, Mike Baldwin shouldn't say out. And anyway, if he does hard cheese, as my two lodgers would say.
Feeling down?
Yeah, we all feel the same at times. You know, life at a standstill, on one note.
I do.
Yeah, well, you're married.
What difference does that make? Oh, come on, Elsie. Even you stopped thinking that marriage was a happy ever after fairy story a long time ago.
Is, everything all right?
Everything's fine. That doesn't mean to say that life doesn't get a touch monotonous from time to time. Same old routine. Even marriage. Especially marriage. At least you're free to kick out traces if you feel like it.
Gum, it's a long time since I've done that.
Perhaps you should give it a whirl.
Are you encouraging me?
Well, we all need to sparkle.
Yeah, and someone to come home to.
So long as it's not coming home to rows and fights. That's all coming home means in some families, you know.
That was what mine was like when the kids were little. Even after I left Arnold. You know, just one long battlefield. You never met Islander and Dennis, did you?
No. Len told me about her.
Yeah. Bells, bells. They used to say I was a firecracker. But our Linda, she... Still.
Hey, Ken's thinking of having his family back to live with him.
Yeah, so Pete says. Still, they're not like mine. They're properly brought up.
You talk about yours now as if they were strangers.
They are.
Well, perhaps that's what Ken's afraid of. They grow up so fast, you soon lose them. At least you had yours with you, in spite of the rows. That's something to look back on.
Yeah.
I haven't got bringing up my kids to remember in my old age. See, Elsie, swings and roundabouts. Can't win 'em all.
Oh, come on, kid. You're not missing much. Any woman that's got a fella around the house has got a big kid to look after.
Oh, you're dead right there.
A tin of tuna fish, please.
Right, I love it.
Hey, do you like that? I don't. Tastes too strong for me.
He must like it, else he won't be buying it now, would he?
Correct. That's a lot, love.
Right.
Thanks.
Wouldn't you fancy a bit of pink salmon or a nice pilchard?
No.
Look, if his wife's working and he's getting his own tea, I think we can allow him to choose for himself.
How about sardines? Well, I'm only trying to be helpful. I know if I had to leave my Stan to his own devices, which is something I do my best to avoid, I'd be only too grateful if somebody stepped in with a bit of advice.
Yes, well, old fellas aren't quite as goneless as yours, Stanley. £3.74, Robbie.
It's all right, Betty Turpin. No need to take it out on me just 'cause you're green-eyed jealous. What have yours done? No, her at the Rovers what's got Madam Mere's job. No chance of getting your toe back there in the door now, I'm afraid. No, Miss Perks is there to stay. I'm very popular with it. I'll have half a pound of cheddar and don't give me the end bit.
Are you sure you've not forgotten anything?
I don't think so. My baseball boots.
Anyway, it doesn't matter even if you have. I can always send it on.
Listen, will you tell Susan or will I? You know about,
No, don't say anything.
You'll tell her, yeah?
Peter,
Uh-huh.
you don't really want to come back here, do you? No, You've got to be honest, because if you're not, you're just going to be miserable, aren't you?
Of course I do. I said I did.
Yeah, I know what you said. And I think I know why you said it. You think it's what I want, don't you? Well, I only want what's going to make you happy. Now, forget about me.
It's not that I don't want to be with your dad, because I do. It's just that, well, I've got all my pals at home, and I've got Gran and Grandad, and like, I know Gran does boss me about a bit, but I bet you would too eventually, and Uncle Albert definitely.
Yeah, very likely. Right. So it's Glasgow, Grandad, school, and your pals, okay?
I think Susan would say the same.
Yes, I think she would. And I don't blame her. I don't blame either of you.
You're not upset then, are you? I mean, you do understand.
I wouldn't be much of a father if I didn't, would I? Anyway, there's always afterwards, after you've left.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be stuck up in Scotland all of my life, do I?
No, or Weatherfield. Still, it might be quite a good stepping stone for a year or two before you leap off.
Leap off where?
Oh, to wherever you're going. It's all a journey. Only some of us don't travel very far.
Right, come on, we'll walk down together.
Where are you going?
We are going to Rovers.
No, you go. I'm definitely not. I'm going straight home.
Betty, love. We spent the entire day listening to how wonderful this Dawn Perks woman is. I make it a rule never to believe anything until I've seen it with my own eyes.
I'm not all that interested.
Come on, Betty, you must be.
No, you go if you want to. I'm in no rush. I'll wait here till you get back.
All right, then. I'll go and have a nosy and come back and report. Okay, I know. You're not all that interested.
What time's Mr. Walker going?
Any minute now.
And then it's gloves off.
Eh?
Look, love, I know you don't like me much, but try not to stick a corkscrew between my shoulder blades when my back's turned, eh?
As long as you do your job proper, I can't say you bother me one way or another.
No?
No. As far as I'm concerned, you're just another employee. A junior employee.
That's right. 10 years, you junior. Yeah, Mr. Bishop, what can I get you? Half a bitter, isn't it?
It's between Ken and the lad, Albert. It's not up to anyone to tell either of them what to do.
Look, have you spoken to Peter about it?
Yes, I have. I said no. I just said he ought to do what his dad wants him to do, that's all.
Yes, well, I don't think that's right. It's not fair to uproot those two kids. They've had enough upheavals in their lifetime.
Oh, kids are adaptable, Albert. More than we are. What does the lad want to do you know?
I don't think he rightly knows himself. And I mean, how can he? It's not fair to ask him to choose between his dad and his granny, who's as good as a mum to him.
Would you like him here?
Of course I would. Just trying not to be selfish.
You know, Albert Tatlock, I think you are, for the first time in your life.
I'd have thought Uncle Albert had been here to say goodbye.
No, I said it before. Hey, he gave me 50 pence. He thought it would be best that I said goodbye to you on my own.
Right, well, that's it then. Well, go on, hop in. You'll want 5 minutes at the station to get some comics and things like that. You sure you can manage?
Of course, I got here in the morning, didn't I? And Dad, don't ask me if I got my ticket. Gran must have asked me at least 500 times before I came.
Deal.
Well, bye. I hope you like Susan better.
Oh, thanks, Peter. Love to Susan and Gran and Grandad.
And you're sure you don't mind?
No, if you're happy, I'm happy, okay?
Bye.
Bye.
Well, she's certainly not behind the door.
Huh? Oh, it looks like that temporary assistant of yours is going to become permanent.
Yeah.
Well, don't look so pleased.
Betty, I like having her there. But the shop won't support two as things stand.
Now, Al, are you sure you want to run to the airport? At least to get a taxi.
Look, I've told you, Annie, I don't mind. I shall enjoy the run. I like a bit of plane spotting.
We'll make sure everything goes smoothly once you're up.
I'll do my best, Mrs. Walker. You just relax and enjoy yourself and give my love to Billy. You did say I was in full charge, did you, Mrs. Walker?
Well, naturally.
Then I give you my sworn guarantee there will be no problems. Bet Lynch runs a very tight ship.
She once went out with a sailor. You're so right.
See you later. I feel sure that that will help us to settle it.
Bye-bye, Mrs. Walker. Have a nice time.
Thank you.
Sit down, Mr. Walker. Have a nice time. See you when you get back. See you. She is going to Jersey. I mean, they're not off for a mucky weekend somewhere, are they? No.
I'll do that. You do the ashtray.
Oh, yeah? Do what with ashtrays?
Empty 'em.
That's cleaner's job.
She's not here, is she, Chuck? This is a very small establishment. We have no demarcation lines here. We all muck in.
I was employed by Mrs. Walker as a barmaid, not a skivvy.
Mrs. Walker can settle that when she gets back. Meanwhile, she's only just gone and she's left me in full charge and the flipping ashtrays wants emptying. Dawn, dear.
Tomorrow night, Clive James meets the man who founded the Playboy empire, Hugh Hefner. Don't miss Clive at Play tomorrow at 9. And next tonight, stay with Granada Plus for the comedians. Next.